early Shabbat Shalom from Congregation Bet Tefillah here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. So friends, you may be familiar with the three Yiddish terms, Shlumiel, Shlei Mazel, and Nunnik. The question is, what is the difference between the three? Well, a Shlumiel, the clumsy one, is the guy that walks around with a hot soup, and of course he trips. Who does he trip on? The Shlei Mazel, the guy without mazel, without luck. Who's the Nunnik? The Nunnik is the guy that insists on knowing what type of soup it was. Well, today, friends, I'd like to be a little Nunnik and ask a question on the second of the two portions that will be read this coming Shabbat, Behar and Bechukotai. Bechukotai, that second portion, is about blessings, curses, and the subject of evaluation. Blessings that will be bestowed upon a person if he or she follows God's ways. Curses if, God forbid, someone does not follow God's ways. And then the subject of evaluation, which speaks of how people would be able to evaluate themselves in the times of the temple and then donate that sum to the temple. For example, an adult, a healthy adult, would have to give 20 silver shekels. A young child would give 5 silver shekels, and so on and so forth. Of course, this does not reflect the internal value of a person, but it reflects the general external value of a person. My nudnik question is, why does this subject of evaluation, to which the Talmud dedicates a whole tractate, known as the Tractate of Erchin, fall immediately after the horrific curses that would befall a person that does not follow God's ways? Why this order? There is no coincidence in the Torah. So why did God place this subject after the subject of curses of Tochacha? The answer, my friends, perhaps is best conveyed with the story about one of the great giants of our generation, Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam, who suffered through the Holocaust and miraculously survived. Not before his own wife and his 11 children were murdered by those evil Nazis. After he came out of those ashes, he rebuilt his life, remarried, had an additional 7 children, rebuilt his Hasidic dynasty, the sons, Kloisenberg Hasidim, and even built a children's hospital known as the Laniado Hospital in Netanya, Israel. But Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam during the Holocaust was once singled out by an evil Nazi officer in front of a large crowd of Jews. That's what they did. They went after the leaders, hoping that if they can humiliate and destroy their heads, then the rest of the body would follow. They took Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam, and this evil officer threw him to the ground. And then he asked him, "So tell me, in front of all of these Jews here, do you still believe that you are the chosen people?" And Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam said, "Yes," proudly. This Nazi officer could not stand the sound of that answer. He started whipping him, beating him, torturing him. After he finished, he asked Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam again, "Do you now believe that you are still the chosen people?" And Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam responded with a firm yes. Again, this evil Nazi continued to beat him, torture him. After he finished, Rabbi Yehuda Halberstam found himself lying on the ground in a pool of blood, bruised all over his body, and facing that same question by this evil man. "Do you still believe that you are the chosen people?" And Rabbi Halberstam brilliantly, poignantly responded, "As long as we are not the ones humiliating and torturing others, we will remain the chosen people." Friends, Rabbi Halberstam was teaching us one of the great secrets of Jewish survival. Why did the Jews continue to survive and thrive in spite of the unfathomable pain and suffering that they faced throughout history? Because they knew that they were never victims. No matter how harsh the circumstances and the tochecha, the curses were, they knew how to evaluate themselves as pieces of heaven on earth, as people who possess a divine soul that knows no bounds, as people who are connected to God, and therefore they too are infinite. This is why God places the subject of evaluation of Erchin after the Tochacha to share with us exactly this message. That no matter what Tochacha, what curse we may face in life, we can never succumb and surrender. We must always remember to rise up thereafter and look at ourselves in the mirror and see a true infinite value in us and in others. Friends, what a message, especially for these times. It's been now over 2 months in which the world has been completely disrupted by this coronavirus, by this pandemic. Many found themselves suffering. This tochacha no one expected. Our future is yet unknown. And our health, by so many, remains afflicted. And the question is, what will be? Well, here we have the answer. What will be? We will rise each and every day, look at ourselves in the mirror and say to ourselves, yes, there is this tochacha. But what follows in a portion of Bechukotai? Erchin, the knowledge of our true value. Knowing how to look at that person that we are seeing in the mirror and saying that this person is not a victim, but he or she is a victor. This person is not a loser in spite of the circumstances. He or she is a winner. This person knows the Jewish secret to survival, to Am Yisrael Echai, to being a chosen people. And therefore this person will overcome, will continue to do good, continue to be a light unto his or her surroundings, and continue to exercise the power of her or his soul. Do good, and do good, and do good. I'm inspired by yet another anecdote about the Satmar Rebbe, who too faced a shattered nation after the Holocaust. And a Jew once came to him and said, Rebbe, give me a blessing. And the Rebbe responded, you want me to give you a blessing? Go to any person who has a tattooed number on his or her arm and ask them to give you a blessing. Of course, he was referring to Holocaust survivors. Why them? Because he was teaching us that same message. Those Holocaust survivors faced the worst of humanity. Yet they were able to rise again, look at life in the eyes, and say, we are the chosen people. We will therefore act like the chosen people, no matter how much people have thrown us onto the ground, tortured us, beaten us, made us wallow in a pool of blood. We will rise again. That power of knowing your value and following that calling is a power of saints. And therefore the Satmar Rebbe said, these people can give blessings. These are blessings from saints of our generation. Friends, let us continue to devote ourselves to everything that Judaism stands for, to being the chosen people, knowing that in spite of the pain, we have so much gain. We have so much gain within us. We must therefore continue to devote ourselves to goodness and kindness. I beg you, pick just one mitzvah, as we often say here at CBT. Make that your GPS. Make that your source of light. Make that the reason for which we are the chosen people, as Rabbi Allouche so beautifully said. And if we can each light that candle, follow its light and illuminate it to the world, then no doubt we will come out of this better, brighter, and stronger. And yes, we will show to the world that we are indeed the chosen people. Shabbat Shalom.